next is Sweta. When Dominique visits Roark's house for the first time after making him lose a contract, Dominique says she wants to destroy him. Roark responds, now within quotes, "Do you think I would want you if you didn't?" When Dominique visits last time to inform Roark about her marriage to Peter, he says, "I love you, Dominique, as selfishly as the fact that I exist, as selfishly as my lungs breathe air. I breathe for my own necessity, for the fuel of my body, for my survival. I've given you not my sacrifice or my pity, but my ego and my naked need. This is the only way you can wish to be loved. This is the only way I can want you to love me." So, now queries. Pranam Acharya ji. Kindly help me understand the relationship between Roark and Dominique as well as their destructive paths to liberation. So, reference excerpt 1. Excerpt 1 said, "Do you think I would want you if you didn't?" Dominique says, "I want to destroy Roark." What is the rationale here? So, the rationale is Dominique loves the truth so much that she can't tolerate truth being in the company of false. So she wants to destroy the truth, rather take the truth away from the false. She doesn't want the false to come to the truth. Roark getting a commission would be the equivalent of a handshake between the true and the false. So that's what Dominique means when she says, "I want to destroy you. I want to frustrate your motives." That's what she's saying. You want to shake hands with the false by accepting their commissions. I don't want you to shake hands with the false. I want to destroy your motives. And Roark says, "That's what I love you for, baby. You love the truth so much, and that's why I love you." It's simple, it's obvious, Shweta. Roark says, "It is because you love the truth so much that you cannot tolerate the truth in the company of the false that I love you. I love you for your truth-loving quality." Getting it? Now, how is the rape of Dominique justified? Is this just Roark's way of destroying her? And why this way? It defies the usual ways of expressing love that I am aware of. What is the true expression of love? There is nothing called a standard true expression of love. It depends on the situation. Had Dominique been the sister of a fellow quarry worker, Roark's interactions would have been dramatically different. It's just a coincidence that Dominique happens to be the daughter of the owner of the quarry. It is because the equation is set in a particular way that you find the rape scene happening. Otherwise, it is not necessary that a Roark and a Dominique will consummate their love via a rape necessarily. Let that not become a mental standard. It will be a dangerous thing. Roark's will not materialize. Dominique's will also not materialize. But if you start believing in this particular standard expression of love, then rapes will materialize prolifically. Additionally, what you see in the story is not really a rape. Apparently it is. Don't forget that Dominique didn't utter a word in the entire process. She could have shouted. Don't forget that Dominique never mentioned the thing to anybody ever. In fact, when the supervisor of the query was about to reveal the worker's name to her, she deliberately changed the topic. She didn't even want to know the name of the fellow who had assaulted her, if assault is a proper word to use in the context. Why do they meet via that violent route? Well, it's an exigency. Dominique knows Roark as an ordinary query worker, and she feels attracted towards him for an unknown reason. Roark knows who he is, and he knows his worth. He frustrates her advances. She wants him to come and change the marble stone by the fireplace. Roark instead sends somebody else. That infuriates Dominique. Dominique prefers to demonstrate her love by slashing a whip across Roark's face. That's her display of love. By slashing Roark's face, she's just telling Roark how much she missed him. It's a communication. It's a particular kind of language. By touching his face, she has already made it physical. And remember that she has slashed his face. There is blood. So it's not merely skin-deep contact. It's penetrated the skin. And Roark too admires Dominique. And once Dominique initiates this thing, he engages her on her own terms. He says, if this is the language we are talking in, I too want to say I love you. You said I love you by bruising my face. Now I too will say I love you in the language we are choosing to communicate in. Remember that Dominique is not simple. She's complex. She's yet to attain simplicity. She is hurt and vulnerable, and slender and delicate and fragile. When she sees somebody like Roark, her first instinct is of revulsive admiration. She hates him for being someone she feels attracted to. Because her underlying philosophy is, the world is such a corrupted and mean place that there must not be anybody here worth feeling attracted to. That's her philosophy. Do you get this? She has decided the world is a mean place. And in this mean place, there must not exist anybody with the potential and the power and the beauty to attract me, says Dominique. At one place, she says, I'm 25 now. And I too wonder sometimes what it would mean to sleep with a man. But it's just that I can't bring myself to sleeping with anybody. Either I'll find the most worthy man who, according to her, does not exist at all, so cannot be found, or I'll give myself to the lousiest lout I can trace. That's her philosophical foundation. Now, with this kind of an idea, she chances upon the query worker. And that offends her, because she had decided that there cannot exist anybody with the potency to be attractive to her. And she is defeated. The very figure of Roark is a humiliation. She had decided she would never feel attraction. And she does. It's an insult. And then she is the one who relents. She creates a bit of a scene. Somehow she manages to put a faint crack in the marble. And then she calls Roark. Surely you are worth the 62 cents that you earn an hour. I'll pay you that much. You come over. This is an expression of her love. Again and again she is saying, I love you. But she cannot say it simply. So she is using all these convoluted things. And Roark comes over and finds that the stone is hardly broken, and in one glance he can detect that it has been deliberately broken to create an occasion to call him. So then he really, with a wedge and a hammer, splits the stone into two and says, now it's really broken, and now I can replace it. Ayn Rand has a great wit. And she knows that he knows. She knows that he knows that she has absolutely fallen for him. And yet the two talk as if none of them knows anything, with a great formality. And then he goes away and says, when the replacement marble comes, then I'll then have it set for you. And then she keeps waiting when the replacement marble will come, and it comes. And the moment it comes, she sends for him. But instead of himself, he sends over somebody else. That's his reply. He says, if you cannot be straight with me, this is what you will get. That old fat Italian. Roark is saying, if you cannot be straight with me, why should I come to you? If you have fallen for me, admit it. Instead of extending a date proposal to me, you are calling me as a menial worker. That's very mean of you, Dominique. I reject the date. So Roark rejects the date. And the Italian comes over and does something. And Dominique is badly offended. So she, riding her horse, goes in search of Roark, does not find him in the quarry, returns and finds him along the path. And then one tight slash of the twig she is holding in her hand. Must have hurt. And Roark says, now the thing is in the open. Now it's physical. She hardly left Roark with any option. It was an open invitation. A challenging one, obviously, but more intimate than challenging. Roark could not have refused it. And sexual encounter between the two could probably have taken place only in the one way that has been depicted. There is hardly any alternative. It will be difficult to conceive Roark and Dominique setting up a hot night as couples usually do. Darling, I am horny tonight, let's meet at 11 p.m., your place. Difficult to visualize that happening between Dominique and Roark. So they met in the way they could. And it's hardly rape. Hardly rape. Dominique declines to take even a bath after Roark leaves. She wants the granite dust on her body to remain. She wants his sweat to remain on her body. She collapses by the bathtub and keeps lying on the cold tiles till morning. But she doesn't take a bath. Do you call it rape? Just as our lives are constrained, so are our attitudes towards sex and our conception of the sexual process. Just as our lives lack in vitality, so does our sexuality. It has been a problem for most people, reconciling how Rishi Roark can rape. After all, rishis are supposed to be soft and benign and caring. They are not supposed to enter the rooms of virgin ladies using windows after midnight and then sneak back after the act. It is not the sexual act that should surprise us. It is not that sexual act we should question. We should rather question ourselves on being surprised. We should ask ourselves, what is it about that act that surprises and offends me? It is the potency, it is the vitality, it is the audacity that we so deeply lack in our lives. And it is the sincerity. For that to happen, which transpired between Roark and Dominique, you require a great depth of understanding between the man and the woman. We usually don't have that kind of an understanding. Because we don't have that understanding, so we cannot have such experiences and encounters. Because we live fairly predictable, pattern-based and regimented lives, therefore our sexual activities are fairly pattern-based, regular and regimented. Ecstasies are given only to the ones who are available to be ecstatic. Others will just have dullness and boredom. That does not mean that the life of somebody like Roark will necessarily include ecstatic physical encounters. It depends on the situation. It is quite possible that a Roark may lead his entire life not caring for sexual experience at all. It is quite possible. Remove Dominique from Fountainhead, and you'd still have some kind of a fountainhead. It was a chance encounter between the two of them. Roark was not dying to have sex. He was all right. And there are long years when he cannot meet Dominique. He does not get frustrated or sexually desperate. He is all right. Had Dominique not entered his life, he would have probably remained a virgin throughout his life, and he wouldn't have been bothered about it. Similarly, had Roark not entered Dominique's life, you cannot say what course her life would have taken. She too might have remained celibate all her life. Then, I love you, Dominique, as selfishly as the fact that I exist, as selfishly as my lungs breathe air. I breathe for my own necessity, for the fuel of my body, for my survival. I've given you not my sacrifice or my pity, but my ego and my naked need. This is the only way you can wish to be loved. This is the only way I can want you to love me. So, what is this? The only way of love that Roark is talking about? How is Dominique a necessity for Roark's survival? What does he mean by naked need? He also says while parting, I can't help you, you must find your own way. Why are these two people so drawn to each other? How are they really helping each other? We have spoken on this, Shweta. The one thing that has not been addressed is naked need. What he's saying is, I am not doing you a favor by coming to you. Your company gives me physical and mental fullness, and that's why I'm coming to you. So my love is not an act of charity. There is a clear rationale behind it. Why should I be drawn towards anybody randomly? There has to be a reason. Here again there is a reason. Though the reason is beyond worldly. You are giving me something that the world cannot give. I need you as desperately as a man needs air to breathe. You could loosely translate it as, you are the food for my soul. A bad translation, nevertheless. You bring something to my soul that the world does not. I need you. That's why I'm with you. And it's an honest admission. Okay? Then he says, I can't help you. You must find your own way. Everybody has to find his or her own way. There are things in which nobody can be helped, because ultimately the decision is individual. Progress in life, spiritual progress, is about saying the right yes and right no. And you have complete authority over your yes and over your no. So you have to decide and you have to find your way. Nobody else can say yes on your behalf. Nobody else can say no on your behalf. That would be an infringement on your basic liberty. Are you getting it? That's what Roark is saying. On your own, you have to say no to certain things. On your own, Dominique, you have to say yes to certain things. And when you will mature to say that, then I'll be there for you. It is imperative for you to walk your own path. It is imperative for everybody to walk his own path. He can be shown some light. The way can be described and detailed. But the choice to walk and the effort contained in walking has to be strictly personal. It has to be your own personal yes, I want to walk, and it has to be your own personal effort, yes. I'm not walking on crutches. I'm exerting myself. I'm paying the price. That's what Roark is saying.